Since 2014, Bellator MMA has been the sport's second biggest promotion, thanks to its combination of homegrown talent and UFC veterans enjoying a second wind to their careers. Despite this, the company has been marred by bad matchmaking and surreal moments in and out of the cage. Today, we look at the happenings that weren't just bad, they were peak Bellator. Oof. Welcome to the INC, and these are 5 of the dumbest Bellator moments. In 2016, Bellator played host to one of the worst fights in MMA history, when Kimbo Slice took on Dada 5000 in the co-main of Bellator 149. The fight was billed as a 10-year rivalry between street fighting icons, with both men playing their part with highly produced vignettes and a show-stealing performance at the pre-fight press conference.
I'll show my nuts right now. Let me see your nuts. You got baby nuts, Dada. You got baby nuts. I bet you my nuts bigger than yours. Come on.
The antics made 149 the most watched card in Bellator history, and the new fans were treated to an explosive start, including a rare Kimbo takedown in the first minute. The optimism, however, quickly diminished.
These takedowns, man, they cost gas. Dada is falling right down to his butt.
Both men were gassed by the middle of the first round, with the rest of the fight consisting of sloppy punches and Dada even kneeling in the ring for a mid-fight rest. The match reached its high point in the second round, when Big John McCarthy stood the two fighters up for inactivity despite Kimbo having full mount on his opponent. The fight panted and wheezed its way into the final round, where Kimbo managed just enough energy to send his opponent crashing to the mat with a knockout. Although your definition of knockout may be generous.
Dada has no idea where he is, and that's the ground.
Bellator and the Texas State Athletic Commission were immediately criticized for their sanctioning of the match, a consensus which gained further mileage when it was revealed Dada suffered cardiac arrest, dehydration, and kidney failure during the fight. The bout suffered its final twist weeks later, when it was revealed Kimbo had tested positive for performance enhancers during a pre-fight drug test, making the 11 minutes and 32 seconds of action completely pointless. You never know what to get from a Raymond Daniels fight, for good and bad reasons. Daniels transitioned to MMA after an acclaimed kickboxing career, quickly earning a cult following with his flashy fighting style and highlight reel knockouts. Fans were hoping for more of the same when Daniels took on Peter Stanonek on the main card of Bellator 245. Daniels started the fight in trademark fashion with an array of jumping and spinning kicks, but things took a downturn in the second when a wayward strike caught Stanonek in the crown jewels.
Oh my goodness!
Right here. Come here.
Stanonek was given the full 5 minutes to recover from his injuries, and despite the concerns of commentator Josh Thompson, agreed to return to the match, knowing there was no chance of such a brutal groin shot happening again in the same fight.
12 seconds later.
Stanonek. Wow.
No, that was definitely confident. I saw. Donn.
This time, there was no recovery. Referee Jason Herzog waved off the fight as Stanonek's screams of pain echoed round the Mohegan Sun. In fact, some say if you're in Connecticut on a cold winter night, you can still hear him groaning to this day. Daniels and Stanonek would finally settle the score at Bellator 257, Daniels winning a dick kick-free fight by unanimous decision. There was little scandal on paper between Valerie Laureda and Anastasia Bruce, two young fighters making their pro debuts on the prelims of Bellator 215. But it soon became one of the biggest case studies for the criticism of Bellator's matchmaking. 2 weeks before the fight, Bellator were forced to scratch the fight from the card, after the Connecticut State Athletic Commission raised concern over the skill differential between the two fighters. The fight's devil lay in the detail. Although Laureda hadn't fought professionally, she was a multi-time Taekwondo champion who was once part of the U.S. Olympic team, while Bruce was a part-time model who'd lost all 12 of her amateur MMA fights. While Bellator has often been criticized for its matchmaking of prospect fighters, their attempt to book Laureda vs. Bruce was panned for being a glorified showcase fight, especially with Laureda being courted as a potential, asset for the company. The issues resurfaced a few months later, when former pro wrestler Jake Hager was booked against full-time beef plant worker TJ Jones. Jones was quickly overwhelmed before being submitted in the middle of the first round. Laureda was eventually booked for Bellator 216, where she made easy work of 1-2 Colby Fletcher. Bruce, meanwhile, would lose her 3 pro fights before quietly retiring from the sport. MMA and pro wrestling have been entwined since the very beginning, but Bellator pushed this link to uncomfortable levels in 2014. At Bellator 123, company president Scott Coker announced an upcoming bout between UFC Hall of Famers Stephan Bonnar and Tito Ortiz. The match was seen as a coup for the promotion. Ortiz was a former light heavyweight champion, considered one of the sport's first mainstream stars, while Bonnar's appearance on the first season of The Ultimate Fighter was a factor in MMA's boom in popularity in the mid-2000s. Bonnar cut a scathing promo on his future opponent, but his vitriol was overshadowed by a masked sidekick accompanying him in the cage. Just who was under the hood? Chuck Liddell? Jenna Jameson? DDP after stalking Tito's wife? No, it was actually one of Ortiz's former training partners, marking the most underwhelming unmasking since Vince McMahon revealed himself as the higher power. Tito attempted to retaliate against Bonnar, but after quickly losing the battle with his toughest opponent, the English language, he decided to battle in a rather different manner.
The little mask that he put on, you're gonna put this at the fighter.
After the farcical build-up, the fight itself proved underwhelming. Ortiz winning a forgettable split decision after 4 months, which damaged the credibility of everyone involved. Bonnar retired shortly after the fight, and was last seen working for the cult of Joshua Fabia. Sadly, it wouldn't be the last time Ortiz and pro wrestling would cross paths.
And I've kicked many of butts across this world and across the United States.
This last segment is dedicated to former UFC heavyweight Matt Mitrione. After a tenure which included wins over Derek Lewis and Gabriel Gonzaga, Mitrione signed for Bellator in 2016. But his time with the promotion was overshadowed by the constant bad luck surrounding his fights. Mitrione's misfortunes began at Bellator 172, when a main event bout with Fedor Emelianenko was cancelled hours before the event after Mitrione was diagnosed with kidney stones.
Well, what else could it be?
It's kidney stones. Or kidney stones.
The bout was rescheduled for Bellator's Madison Square Garden pay-per-view, and while Mitrione claimed a win over the MMA legend, it was only after both men nearly knocked each other out at the same time. The strangeness continued in a pair of bouts with Sergei Kharitonov, the first ending after 15 seconds due to an inadvertent groin strike, and the second marred by Mitrione constantly losing his mouthpiece, the last time leading to a second-round knockout. A headbutt-induced loss to Tim Johnson would follow, and by 2021, even Mitrione's pre-fight interviews started veering on the surreal side.
That's how you're going to start out this interview? Asking that kind of shit? All right, let me put my asshole hat on real quick. All right, let's go. I'm ready. Fuck this. Let's go. Don't apologize for shit. That's how you're going to start it off? Let's go. Come on.
All right, listen, I'm sorry. It's just...
No, don't apologize for shit. That's how you want to do it. So fuck it. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
All right.
I'm 0-5. Let's go.
Mitrione was released after a first-round stoppage to Tyrell Fortune, having failed to win his past 5 fights in the promotion. But it wouldn't be a Mitrione Bellator fight without more mid-fight absurdity.
Let's see right here, he ducks his head, but see, that was created by Matt Mitrione ducking his head into Tyrell Fortune's head.
And now, time for a few honorable mentions. 20-year-old Marcin Held was denied a shot at the Bellator lightweight title after the casino holding the event refused him permission to enter. Signing multi-time steroid cheat Josh Barnett and immediately having him pop once again. Nut shots. Lots and lots of nut shots.
Axe kick, and that's in the groin, and time called.
This is the INC. Like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video.